Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everybody. I'm your host, Nicole, and we are together for yet another episode in our profile series. I am so excited to be doing this. The response to this has been so great. It's really been fun for me. I love when I kind of dive into one aspect of design. I think that it's really fun because I always approach this from a new place. It's coming from when I dive into something, I'm always working with profile, so I'm really drawing on my experience, and that was really what I wanted to bring to this. Not the definitions that you can read in any book or in any Instagram carousel, but really drawing out the experience I have working with all of these types, working with all of these profiles, and letting you know what I see like in the real world. I thought that was where the value would be, and it's been really fun for me to reflect on all of this because profile is like, it's so important. It is so like a core foundational piece of who you are. And that's why we're doing this. So for those of you who are just joining us, if this is the first episode in the series that you're joining us on, I encourage you to go back, listen to the 2 that we've done already, and stay tuned for the 9 more that we have. Yeah, we've got a whole slew of these. There are 12 profiles, and each profile in human design is going to get its very own episode in this series. They will be, from today on, it will just be profiles. We did take a little bit of a break to give you the transit episode for April, which actually I might be lying to you. We might be doing that one more time in May because we know that you guys love those transit episodes where we dive, Christina Luna and I, my astrologer bestie, we get together and we talk about the cosmic weather coming for the month. So we took a little break there. We'll take another one in May, but everything else will be profiles. Okay. So profiles, why this is so important, it tells us what our balance is in life, like a core balance that we have. Because we get 2 numbers, right? Every profile gets 2 numbers. Today, we're going to be talking about the profile 2-4 Hermit Opportunist. Okay? So we're talking about the 2 and the 4 line. Now, these are their separate pieces, but when they come together, they are greater than the sum of their parts. They make up a person, and it really does give us a unique flavor and a way of life for an individual. So what profile can tell us when you start to study profile, if you start to pay attention to your profile, if you start to live and work on embodying your profile, then this tells you how you nurture yourself correctly. How do we find our gifts? And we find our gifts by leaning into our gifts, leaning into the best version, the highest version of all the pieces that we are, and leaning away from the shadows. How do we do that? Usually it's about being aware of what the shadows are. There are a million self-help books. There are a million gurus on Instagram, videos, all sorts of things, events that you can go to where people are going to tell you, these are the things you have to watch out for. You don't want to be doing this and you don't want to be doing that. That's bad behavior. That's not going to make you successful. Well, that's their experience. And that is what they have seen and that's what they have done. And that is valid in and of itself. However, does it mean that it's necessarily applicable to you? No, because sometimes the advice we get from somebody else is like, that worked for you, but it's actually detrimental to a different person. So that's the power of human design. It says, here's you. Here's all of these pieces that make you up. Here are all the ingredients of you. Now, this is how we get the best out of those ingredients. That person over there, they're talking about their ingredients, and that worked for their recipe. But this dish that you're making, the best version of you, requires you to pay attention to these things. And these are the most important ingredients, and these are the ones that add flavor and excitement and different qualities to it. But they're not going to be the ones that you have to pay attention to all the time, maybe. Okay? So this is how it becomes so powerful. This is how I use profile to raise my son. It's something I very much look at, and I also kind of coach my husband on how to do that with our son. And my husband's a skeptic with this stuff. He's not a woo person. He is not an energy person, but he does see the truth in human design because he understands that I basically read his whole life to him and how things work for him when I read his chart and when I read his sister's chart and when I read him our son's chart. And so he knows the truth in it. And he's fascinated and kind of surprised, quite honestly, a lot of times about how accurate it is. And it does give us a map for how to, for our son, we look at him and we say, well, what are the most important things to help him work through? Now, of course, we could notice it in his behavior, but the fact that I know that these are natural occurrences of shadow patterns for his one line, say, for example, the fact that I know that, I can help him correct something that is going to be a core gift for him if we can shift the shadow. If we can train him to get over that, then life will be a lot easier for him. That's going to be the most important thing for him, right? So that's what profile can tell us. That's how powerful this is. It can change your life. And in business, I teach this as being your brand voice. But really what we're talking about, it's your X factor. This is what makes you different than everybody else. The fact that I'm a 5-1 emotional manifesting generator, there are a lot of manifesting generators out there. There are a lot of emotional manifesting generators out there. There are a lot of emotional manifesting generators who teach human design out there. But I'm a 5-1. So that changes the flavor of the way that I do everything, of who I am and how I show up, as long as I'm being authentic and true to that. And that is what draws the right people to me. And the 1-3 emotional manifesting generator or the 2-4 emotional manifesting generator, they get the people that are right for them. We offer different things, energetically and practically, okay? So understanding what your magic is, what your X factor is, essential to building a brand that has substance and vibe, that has this energetic quality to it that is magnetic, that people feel drawn to, and that feels authentic to you, right? Where you're not copying somebody else's formula, you're doing your thing your way, and people go, wow, I'll have what she's having. I want to be close to that person. Maybe they can help me. So if you're interested in digging into your X Factor, we actually have an X Factor by Design guide that we created. And all you have to do to get that is to DM me the word X Factor on Instagram, and we will send you that right there. Or you can go to the show notes and we'll link it up there for you as well. And then if you want to dig into deconditioning, going deeper into digging into those shadows that I was talking about your human design lines, your profile lines, just DM me the word tapping, and we will send you the link there. We actually have, for the first time ever, I'm offering tappings that are not part of my program. I'm offering them outside where you can buy them individually. So for very, very little investment, you can start deconditioning at a very deep level. This is what moves and changes people's lives, is the deconditioning of their design, not just intellectually understanding their design. Okay? We also have a contest that we're running right now. If you share this episode and tag me on Instagram, I'm at Nicole Leno Official, you'll be entered to win a human design reading with me here on the show. It's very exciting. We've done it before, and people have gotten so much value out of this totally free reading that they get just for sharing this show on your Instagram and saying why you love it. That's it. Tag me, we'll take care of the rest, and you can enter more than once. You could do this every single episode in this series. We'll announce the winner after the series is over, and if you win, we'll book your reading. You'll come on the show. We'll share whatever questions you have for me about your design. I will answer them there, okay? Let's dive into this episode now, okay? Let's talk about the profile 2-4. The 2-4 profile, obviously we have the 2, which is the Hermit, and then we have the 4, which is the Opportunist. That's the traditional name that they are given in traditional human design. I look at them a little bit differently. I look at this more as like the mystic kind of connector is kind of how I look at this person. That's the potential that is there for you. There's something mysterious about the 2. There's something alluring about the 2. And part of that has to do with the fact that the 2 carries the projection field. It's a different projection field than the 5 line, but it is a projection field. I always say the difference between the 2, people be like, I don't understand the difference between the 2 projection and the 5. The 2 projection is more like an X-ray. People see like right into a 2. And there are lots of 2s who feel that very, very confronting and makes them feel vulnerable and uncomfortable because people are looking at you, they're seeing deeply into you, and they're going, you know what you'd be great at? You know what you should do? They see talent because that's what the 2 line is about. And this is a 2 in the front. This is a personality 2. But this is a profile that kind of pulls at each other, the 2 and the 4. The 2, it's not called the hermit for no reason. The hermit personality really wants to be left alone. It wants to just do its thing. The 2 personalities just wants to like paint in a basement, or find a room with good light, lock themselves in it and just paint all day, or draw, or do something where it feels like immersive. And it's hard to do that with a whole bunch of people around, especially when those people around are telling you, you know what you'd be great at, or that's great. The 2 kind of wants to be left alone, but they also don't. They want to be recognized. They do want to be successful. They do want their talent to be seen. Because kind of who doesn't want their talent to be seen? We see a lot of artists that have a 2 somewhere in their design. It's because there is a naturalness to the 2. It's not taught like the 1. The 1's a master, but the 1 becomes a master. The 1, I said this during the 1-4 episode, the 1 is a craftsman who comes in and says, I'm going to be great at this. And they work at it and they grind at it and they sweat over it and they love that process. I'm a 1, but sometimes I can be afraid of getting too deep, right? To actually make it happen. The 2, it tends to flow. The 2, they're not working at it necessarily. It's not hard, I should say. I don't want to say there's no work in the 2. Because that's a bit of the shadow of the 2 is being a little out of integrity. Oh, things are just so easy for me. And just everything should be easy and nothing should be work. It shouldn't be hard is more the message with the 2. A 2 line who is properly nurtured in the 2 and the 4 in this 2-4 profile, a lot of things in life will naturally sort of unfold for this person if they're in alignment with their type and with their authority. They're following their design, usually even a little bit. Life will either seem, and this is where we go both ways with things, it's either you're in real alignment with things and they're working, or you're not and they're really not. What that looks like for the 2-4, and this has been my experience working with them, the 2-4 life either seems charmed and like things are just so easy, like life just sort of cradled you and planted you places and put you in front of the right people and your talent was discovered and then it just blossomed in front of everybody. It either feels like that or it feels like the opposite and it feels kind of cruel, because what's innately in the 2 is to not really understand how it does what it does and to not be able to explain it. So this is why I think 2-4s tend to do really well when they can let go. And if they do something that is a service, that is a demonstration of their talent, then things tend to go their way. When they need to explain what they do, that can pose a greater challenge for them. I have to work with 2s very, very differently than I work with 1s and then I work with 3s. And certainly different than the other lines. But this is the personal part of the process, is the 1, 2, or the 3 line. This is a 2 line. This has to do with their way. A 2 kind of needs to dance for you. They can't necessarily teach you how they dance. They might be able to teach you how to dance, but how they dance, they might not be able to do that because you can't teach talent. So this is where I think things get difficult for 2s. And for the 2-4, they might not be networking. They might not have nurtured their network, which is the social side of this. If 2-4s hermit too much and they're not exercising that 4 line and growing their network and really, really showing people who they are, then they tend to get left behind. They're not recognized. They're not called, because that is what the projection of the 2 does. A 2-4 that's working well will be building their network, being in front of the right people, and those people will be like, hey, you know what you should do? You should do this. In business, it would look like, hey, you should speak in front of my group. Hey, you want to come to my retreat? Hey, you want to do that? It's a very 4-line thing, but it would be for their talent. People will be saying to them, you know what you're amazing at? And people will just be recognizing that all over the place. And really what it's telling them is, this is a talent you have, nurture it. That's really what it means. Sometimes 2s find the talent, but they don't nurture the talent. So it doesn't really become what it had the potential to become. And when they would get older, so if in childhood, talent wasn't nurtured, they really weren't given that space to be who they were. Maybe they had to be more logical, which they're not. They don't trust their gifts. So the way that 2-4s' lives can sort of split in those sliding doors moments is, did they get called out for the right gifts when they were young? Did they nurture that talent? Did they believe it when someone told them that they could be good at something? Did they really feel intuitively, yeah, you know, that is my thing? Because that's what it's about. It's about finding your thing. And then you go and you hang out with people and you mingle and you network. And then more of those people start calling out that same gift. That's how it's meant to work. So let's talk about some famous 2-4s, because I think examples help. So there's some famous 2-4s are Johnny Depp. I've talked about him on this show before because I think he is an amazing example of 2-4 magic. We have Ryan Gosling, who I think exemplifies that like shy, coy sort of 2, but people just love him. And he does just sort of seem to be naturally good at things. We've seen those videos of him when he was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old in a dance troupe. And you see he's the only boy in there and he's just got like natural rhythm and he's got natural flow and he's just naturally good at that, good at performing. He's a performer. So what happened? Mickey Mouse Club and all of this stuff. And now we're still watching him today. It's been a lifelong thing, a talent that was nurtured, built a community, used his community, was invited to things. People love him, keep putting him in movies, and he keeps getting better and better and better, right? That's how 2-4s work. Oprah Winfrey, 2-4. Al Gore, 2-4. Benny Blanco, who's getting engaged to Selena Gomez right now. They just came out with an album. He's a 2-4. So a lot of artists are 2-4. Aretha Franklin, Gwyneth Paltrow. So let's just talk about, Johnny Depp is an example that I've used on the show. I'm going to use it again simply because I think that this illustrates how this works. Johnny Depp was playing like guitar, trying to be in a band, and I believe it was Nicolas Cage said, you should audition for this movie that I'm auditioning for. He'd never acted and just recognized talent, invited him to go someplace. 4-line. Community opens the door to something else. He goes to the audition. He gets it. Never acted before. Just had a natural way about him. That was The Outsiders. It launched his career, changed his life. He didn't even want to do it. Nicolas Cage apparently made him go. He's like, no, I think you'd be really good at this. That's 2-4. Al Gore. I want to bring him up simply because Al Gore and, the 4 is here to have influence over the people that they know and the people who know them. It's not the strangers person. Influence over strangers is not necessarily what 4s are known for. It doesn't mean it can't happen. I don't believe in rules, but that is where they have their greatest influences over a personal circle. And once that gets too wide or we get to that bigger, wider audience, the influence is not there, right? It's not as strong. Now, Al Gore ran against George W. Bush in, that was the famous election years ago, year 2000. They have the election against each other. They're running for president. A 2-4 versus George Bush, who's a 5-1. The 5, influence over strangers. big platform works really well for 5. I'm not saying that's why Al Gore lost, although some people would argue who really lost that race. It came down to like a vote. It was ridiculous. Anyway, but the struggle there for Al Gore to get that message out that you need like a grassroots sort of organization. Kamala Harris, 2-4. The 4-line struggles sometimes to get something out in a big way where it doesn't travel by like word of mouth, where it doesn't travel. It's an organic kind of thing. Whereas the 5 can stand up at a podium, talk to a bunch of strangers, and that energetically pulls them in. So I wanted to point out those differences because I think that they're interesting when we're looking at profile and we're looking at why these things work the way that they work and seeing some real world examples of it. I hope you loved it. I hope you're liking this series. Please let me know. Tag me in Instagram. Take a little screenshot of this in your player. Put it on Instagram. Tag me. I'm at Nicole Leno Official. Tell me what you loved about it. What are you loving about this series? Tell me what we're doing right, what you'd love to see. I love any feedback at all. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much. If you want the X Factor by Design Guide, DM me X Factor. If you want those tapping recordings to purchase where you get to decondition your profile, please DM me tapping and I'll send you the links for those. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you in the next series episode. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design, everybody. We'll see you next time. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to nicoleleno.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.